Well, hey, I've got to say, to start things off, dude, the new single made me want to flip a table. I
Thank you.
said that in
We're
the
talking
video
about
several times.
we're talking about needful things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sick. Okay, awesome. Yeah, she told me that you guys had it in advance, which I think is awesome. It's cool that you guys got to do like a reaction to it so that you could drop it like when it drops, you know. So
Yeah, we'll
well,
have that
fuck yeah,
drop
I'm
after
glad
you
you like it. I
guys.
think that was yeah, it's up there with one of our favorites for sure. So I'm stoked you guys
I
like it.
was I was saying that to Nate as well. Like, I'm like, and I love you guys. I love everything you guys have done. I think you're such an original, cool band that has honestly brought something so fresh and different to the heavy scene, and you've
Thank
managed
you.
to continue doing it. But that song,
Mhm.
man, holy shit! Like the breakdowns, the riffs, you guys just stepped it all up and just went,
Thank you
let's
so
just
much.
rip everyone apart. It was so sick, man. Well done.
Thank you so much. That's really nice of you to say.
Yeah, it's kind of made me. I thought I was like excited for the album, and then we listened yesterday. It's like, oh, tomorrow's gonna be such a good day.
Yeah, man. Like there's it's cool because this is like the first fucking record that I feel like. Can I curse? Are we recording? Are we doing
Yeah,
a
Fuck
show
yeah,
right
you
now?
are.
You
All
can say
right,
whatever the
cool.
fuck you
Just
want.
making sure. I was making sure. Fucking, you never know. But like, yeah, like this is like the first record where I feel like it's like this as far as like moods. It's not just like a we start track one and freak the fuck out for 10 songs, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's stuff like there's a song called Law Abiding Citizen, which is like more of like it's got like a royal blood, like kind of dance vibe to it.
Shit, all right.
And then you have like Bread and Roses, which is like a Deftonesy ballad kind of fucking thing. And then you have shit like Needful Things and Guillotine and Neighborhood Watch, which is just like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're fucked. You know what I mean? So man, I love it. I love the record so much. Like I always say, like, we can't do better than this. So like if no one likes it, then we're done. You know what I mean? So but it's been cool. There's a lot of great feedback on it, man, and definitely my heart is very full these days.
Oh, that's it. That's awesome, man. It must be great to still have that sense of pride, like that increasing sense of pride once you release something new. And like you just mentioned, Bread and Roses, and I'm not sure if you caught our reaction to that, but I was just like during that reaction, I was saying to Nath, like it was a really unexpected use of Jesse. I just didn't
Yeah.
expect it, but I thought I knew what I was going to get, and I didn't get that. And it kind of made me 10 times happier because I was like, holy fuck, these dudes are like, they don't give a shit what anyone thinks. They're keen to mix it up.
Yeah, for sure. That's the like every time we make a record, like we're super excited about it, but I always get really upset of like tracks 7, 8, and 9. And it always feels like the throwaway songs and like so I feel like we never make a full record that I'm proud of because it doesn't really change. Like there's no like dynamics to it. And there's no like this is the first one where I feel like Needful Things sounds like the start of the record. Here's another victim of the modern age, and then it kicks in with that fucking beat, which is coincidentally the first piece of music we wrote. Craig
wow.
made that drum beat for me, and I was like trying to like make a riff with it, and then I just came in with just open, and I was like, it just sounds evil, which we know we wanted to make like an evil, scary record. So it's like that sounds like the start of it, and then Ladder Work sounds like the end of it, like the end. It sounds like the end of a fucking world, right? And then in between it, though, you want like some movies can be cool like this, I guess, like if you like it, where it's like, I don't know, someone I guess likes Mad Max, or I've never even seen the fucking movie, but a movie like that where I picture it's just like fucking blowing up and shit's crazy and oh my god, that's nuts. Like to me, I like to, I want to build it to the point where it's like not just like boom and
Yeah, you want to
crazy,
go on the
like you want to
journey.
have ups and downs of it. Exactly. So it's like by the time you finish like Chest Candy, and which is like one of the crazier songs you've written, and like Guillotine, and like which is heavy and scary and shit, and then it's Bread and Roses, and then it's like a ballady, like the first time there's ever singing on a Stray record, and like it's got a feature in it, it's cool, it breaks it up, and then it kicks into Law Abiding Citizen, which is like our again mixture of like royal blood meets fucking Billy Joel, because like we literally wrote the lyrics to that like We Didn't Start the Fire. Like if you listen to We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel, and he's just like Mickey Mantle, he's just naming shit, right? So we're like, let's name motherfuckers that we think should fucking die. Like literally, they're the worst people ever.
Weird they
So,
say
like,
Johnny and Nathan.
Yeah.
It's so odd, actually.
yeah. I mean, after today we'll make a fucking revision because you guys are like 3 hours late. No, I'd actually only one of you was, so it's like it's fine. But no, like so, like we you know, I feel like we just made a perfect record finally, and I love it so much. But then it's like, if I love it, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So it's like it's up to the public. You know what I mean? Because every band is like, oh, this is our best work ever, and they're probably telling the truth. I am telling the truth, but I'm also just like, but it doesn't fucking matter what I think. If you don't like it, no one buys
Yeah.
it, no one streams it, no one comes to shows. You know, I'm just, you know, gonna go back to fucking, you know, working at Target or whatever the fuck. You know, not gonna do that. And I never worked at Target ever, so I don't know why I said go back to.
Start at Target.
Yeah.
So talk to us through in previous records then, when it comes to like setting out your song list, the way you guys actually set them up on the album tracks, is that something that you think about being like, okay, cool, in order to have this, we need to have like this vibe at track 7, track 8? Or were you just writing as a band all the songs you want to write without thinking of like more of the dynamics of how the album's going to sit, and then you kind of put them on the album? Or is that something that you came into this album with that forethought of, I want to go on a journey with the listener?
A little bit, yes. So like it's weird. So every record, and it's funny because Will Putney, who's done our last 6 records, and who's like one of my best friends. He's like family. When we're in the studio, he's a part of the band, like to the point where even like we split like the songwriting 5 ways evenly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like he's a part of String in the studio. But the way we normally record is like we go in for 2 weeks, which normally when Will does a record, it's like 4 weeks minimum. So I remember we roll up and we go to do Subliminal Criminals. And he's like, oh, when are you guys leaving? Like we get in on February 1st. Like, when do you leave? I was like, oh, I got our flights for the 15th. He's like, 2 weeks? Like, what? I'm like, I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, we finish it in 15 days. If anything, I think we finished it in 14. And like we fly through records, right? Like we just record really fast. Like, you know, me, Craig, and Nick, like we're really tight. You know what I mean? So we could just do it quick. But for this one, we wrote it over the course of like a year and a half because of, you know, me and Craig are the main songwriters, and he's in Scotland and I'm in America. So it's like we couldn't fucking do anything. So we did all this shit remotely, and we were able to take our time. So it's like I knew that I wanted to make a more complete record. So like you have more time to think about it rather than like, let's just get 11 songs done and be done. You know what I mean? And so this time, you know, like I think getting songs like Bread and Roses, songs like Law Abiding Citizen, and you know, and then even like having the bookends of like Needful Things and Matter Work, like that stuff was a little bit more articulated this time around, and I think it worked out. So like I think going forward, more time on the shit is what we're gonna do instead of jamming it in 2 weeks. Like one time, because we did Subliminal Criminals, and I literally locked myself in the studio for 2 weeks, and I never went outside for no reason,
Shit.
just to do it. It was so stupid, but it was just like, I'm not gonna do that anymore. It's fucking dumb.
Hey, it's only one way to learn, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Things not to do. That's what I lock you out of the
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah.
And you
So-
don't want to do that again.
I was saying to Nath when we were checking out Needful Things as well, is, you know, how much of a fan I am of your guitar work and your approach to guitar, because it is so, you know, obviously like people have had the Tom Morello comparisons and stuff like that with the sounds that you create. But, you know, outside of that, you've still got a very, very specific sound to you in this whole scene. And
Thank you.
And I was saying to Nath, no discredit to your last drummer, but Craig as when he's joined the band, he's really highlighted with his style just how good your guitar work is, because he brings a completely different approach to the rhythmic
Absolutely.
section.
Absolutely.
It's insane, man.
For sure. And I'll tell you this, like, this is how spoiled we are, because Dan Burke, who played drums before Craig, he's nuts. He's fucking amazing, right? But there's no one like Craig. Like, I will go out and say, as far as metal music, no one can touch him. Nobody. And the fact that like I get to go on stage with him every day is a fucking privilege. And I think him and I, like, we'll be at sound check, right? And I'll just hear him playing some random fucking beat, and then I'll just jump in with something, and then we do this thing where we're playing, and then I just do this, and I look at him like that, and he looks back at me, kind of thing, and then like I pull out my phone and we just record what we're doing and we keep it because like, man, we get into a room together, we could write a record in a day if we had to, because we're just on that level. But he's fucking amazing. So we've been very spoiled with drummers because Dan was amazing. But the difference between Dan and Craig is like Dan was very much like, hey, what should I do? You know what I mean? Like to me, whereas like so, and I felt like I wrote before Craig, I wrote everything. And I didn't like that. Like it wasn't something like, oh, I'm the writer, I do it. But it was just like it's just something that kind of fell on me. And like, you know, it's a lot of pressure telling a drummer to do because I'm fucking dog shit at drums, right? So I don't know. So, you know, and luckily Dan figured out because Dan's fucking awesome, right? But like with Craig, you know, I remember we went in to write Only Death Is Real, our first record with Craig. And I went in with like 6 or 7 demos on my computer to the first time we sat down. And then we wrote for like 5 hours and we wrote like 3 or 4 songs and none of them were shit that I had, nothing. And we never even used it.
Jesus.
So it's like, it's just fucking awesome. He just has that creativity. And again, like needful things like the, you know, dun 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 with the bells, like whatever, like
Oh,
that's the
such
first thing that we
unique.
wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the first thing we wrote from this record. And what's cool about it is like, so like I very much worship Rage Against the Machine and he very much worships Gojira and Meshuggah. And we
Yeah.
literally just put those together, which no one's really done. You know what I mean? And what's cool about Stray is that like with Drew, like you hear Drew sing and it's like, you know, it's him. So
Yeah.
like you could kind of put him over anything that me and Craig want to do and it's going to sound like Stray. So like we can do new shit with it's never really, you know, veering from our like wheelhouse. So but now that like, you know, I read a review today, I actually took a screenshot of it. I'm gonna read it because what they said I really liked. And they said, where is it? As a band themselves, they like to frame their as a band themselves, they like to frame their own career. Euthanasia is the 3rd album in the Straight from the Path reboot, kicking it off with the addition of Craig Reynolds. That's how we always viewed it, where we're like, because everyone's like, oh, they've had 10 records. I'm like, first of all, like 3 of those I made when I was like 15. Like we just had the same band name, you know what I mean? It wasn't even me, it was me and 4 other guys. Like, so I always counted like our career starting in 2008 with Drew, and we signed to Sumerian, we put out Villains, and we toured on it. And then, so like to me, it's like, this is our 8th technically, but we always joke around and call that like, this is like our Christopher Nolan trilogy. You know what I mean? This is our Dark Knight Rises, you know what I mean? Like, and Only Death Is Real was Batman Begins and shit, you know? So like, we always joke about that like the band, you know, it's almost like it started 3 separate times. Like when it first started when I was 14 to when Drew joined the band and we signed the first record deal to when Craig joined the band. And like, you know, they pointed out that like Straight from the Past timeline starts when Craig joined, you know what I mean? And like, obviously we did a lot of cool shit with Dan, like Subliminal Criminals, love it, super proud of that. And a lot of parts of like Making History, a lot of parts of Anonymous I'm proud of too. But like, you know, on stage and off stage, like the chemistry with me and Craig is very special. And you know, I think like, I mean, maybe it's fucking arrogant or whatever like that, but I also just think between like, as far as a backing band, like, you know, even take Drew out of the equation, which Drew is one of the best also. But like me, Neck, and Craig, like not many bands can touch us. We don't use tracks. We don't fucking cheat. Like when you see us, it's 1 guitar, 1 bass, 1 drummer, and that's it. Like we don't fuck around. You know, that's why I don't think like a lot of people can't fucking touch us. You know what I mean? But sometimes it doesn't matter because like even if I think we're the fucking best, which I do, it doesn't matter as long as people think that we are. And if they don't think we are, then we don't have a career. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I don't know. I'm just proud of our band. Like, you know, it's cool. We've been doing it for this fucking long. You know, we're on our 30s and we're putting out our best music and like we're getting the best reactions doing our best US tour this fucking deep into our career. So it's like very thankful, very grateful. Love that I get to play alongside these guys and love that we can still continue to make records like this, you know.
It's always an interesting thing when you hear of bands that have had like lineup changes, and like you touched on like Drew being like a really iconic, like the way his sound is, and that's so true. Like when he featured in that Siamese song, we're like, that sounds like, just because you can instantly pick his tone amongst other vocalists. It's really interesting you see bands that go through lineup changes and it changes the band's dynamic completely, and they become like, why did you bother keeping the name? Because you're now just a completely different band. Whereas I think having you at that core of being one, the songwriter, but having your own tone within that whole thing consistently, is that something that is intentional to be like, we want to keep the sound that we have, and then as like obviously your vocalist could change or you could change drummer, but you still want to keep the tone throughout the whole thing? Or is that something that just happens to have been the case throughout the career?
I think we're fortunate that and again, I don't want this to sound like arrogant, because obviously there's fucking people that are play me into the ground. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'm a great guitar player, but like there's people that are I just can't even touch. You know what I mean? However, I don't think that there's anyone that plays like me. And there's no one that sounds like Drew. So it's like, no matter what we do, like it's gonna sound like Stray. And it sounded like Stray our whole time. We've always like stayed true. And yeah, we've been able to swap drummers like and bass players a couple times, even though Neck has been in the band since Rising Sun, so 12 years. So like to me, he's like basically an original member. You know what I mean? Like, because that's like when we first started going. But this will be the last lineup of Stray for sure. Like if anyone left or didn't want to do it or whatever, then we're done. Like I won't play with anybody else, you know. So it's the four of us forever until there's nothing, you know.
We call that ride or die, baby.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, look, I know you sort of mentioned the word arrogance, but you've also got to like, you get to a point as a musician and in your career where you really do have to have a sense of that, and you have to be proud of what you're doing, because otherwise where's your motivation? Where's your you know, why would you keep going if you're not increasingly proud of what you're doing, and you're not, you know, well aware that we're getting better at this, we're creating something that people can connect with, we're you know, creating something different, something that people need, you know. And even lyrically, you guys like have that really, really deep, strong, like social political awareness, but as well like the personalities in the band. Like I always listen to Craig's podcast, and I've watched interviews and stuff with you guys for years. The personalities don't necessarily match the lyrical content, because you're all fucking pranksters and jokesters, it seems, man. Like Craig's the silliest motherfucker I've ever heard.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's honestly the biggest thing when Dan left the band was, who are we going to get to replace him? Not as a drummer, but who could stand the three of us for longer than an hour? You know what I mean? Because man, we're you know, I'm wearing like, the only podcast I love more than the Downbeat is the Always Sunny podcast.
Yeah,
and we
dude,
always
how good
compare
is that?
ourselves.
Oh, it's so
the fucking
good.
greatest thing ever. But like, we always compare ourselves to them. Like, we're always talking over each other. We're always like shitting on each other in like, you know, a loving way, of course. But
your first like, 3 seasons were basically just yelling.
Exactly. So we're like very intense people to be around. So we were I won't name the other person, but it came like, we were talking to someone before Craig, because Craig before Stray, like, I don't want to say he wasn't anything, but like he was like someone that people didn't really fucking know existed, you know.
Was he in
and we did
Biatrophy at the time? Was
he was in Biatrophy, which I don't think anyone knows what Biatrophy is. And then he was in a hardcore band called Brutality Will Prevail, but they weren't really big either. And even still, it's like, it's a hardcore band. Like, you couldn't see what Craig Reynolds was capable of, right? So I'll never forget. So Dan left the band, and it was pretty abrupt and like shocking. So we were looking, and we were talking to someone who was like a pretty revered metalcore drummer that has made one of the most classic metalcore records ever. And like, he's an unbelievable drummer. And he was interested in joining. But then we were like, man, you talk to this dude and he's very like quiet, keeps to himself. I'm like, this guy's gonna get eaten alive in this band, right? And then I remember I was on Facebook and I was just scrolling, and I saw a post from Craig, who we knew him because he was drum teching for Dan Searle, and we toured with Architects a ton of times. And so we knew him. And I saw he like posted some, you know, Craig Reynolds content of like, he was making fun of Adele or something, right? Like something stupid. But I saw it and I was like, oh my fucking God, that's our drummer. So I took a screenshot and I sent it to Drew, and I said, I know who our drummer is. And I sent it to him, and I sent the screenshot of him saying something stupid, and just Drew sent me back yes in all caps with exclamation points. And I was like that. And I just texted Craig and I said, I have a question. I was like, tell me, I didn't say hello, nothing. I just said, tell me you want to play drums for Straight From the Path. And he just said, who, what, when, where, why, how, like what? And I was like, yep, Dan quit. We need someone. Like, it was like October. We had a tour in like 2 weeks, and Dan was saying he couldn't do it. And then Craig couldn't do that soon, but Dan agreed to do it at the end of the day. And we were like, look, come to our London show. and let's talk. So we all went out to eat, and we had a tour in February with Stick to Your Guns and Counterparts in Europe, and we talked about it. We're like, look, we're give you a full on band cut, like we split everything evenly, like, you know, let's do the tour, and if you like it, like, let's see what's up. So because we're like, we don't know if we'll like it, we don't know if you will, so let's do it. So he agrees to do February. Then we and it's funny because Stick to Your Guns and Counterparts, that's like family to us, right? So like we know them. So I remember we get on a bus because we're sharing a bus together, and Craig doesn't know these motherfuckers, but he's just sitting there, and we're like, oh, what's up? And we're like, oh shit, that's our drummer or whatever, right? So anyway, we play the first show. We got off stage, and the three of us were like, hey, that's our drummer, bro. Like, that's our drummer. So we go up to him. We're like, hey, take your time. We understand you wanted to give it a tour, but we just had one show with you, and the three of us want you in the band. Like, that was it, like straight up. And he was like, all right, guys, like, I'm having fun too, but let's take it easy and see what's up. We played like 3 more shows.
Coming a
And then
little
we played we definitely, like, again, that's our personality. But then, you know, we played 3 more shows, and I think we were in Stuttgart, and we came off stage. We had a great show, and Craig comes in the backstage, and we're all there. He just comes in. He goes, I want to join your band, and we were like, yeah, we all hugged and shit. And yeah, it was awesome. It was the best because it's like, I think on stage and off stage, like, helped our dynamic, and it's been very fun for sure.
I like that. How was your audition process? Well, I wrote a dumb thing on Facebook and I joined the band.
Yeah,
I didn't play once.
We always used to joke about it, or Dan Searle used to joke about it, how he would say, my drum tech is better than me, like that, right? So like we would see him check for Dan Searle, so we knew he was good.
Yeah.
He had his YouTube channel, so we could see him jamming, and like, you know, it's funny because I remember sending that to Will Putney, and I was like, I think we're gonna have him play drums, and he didn't know Craig or know of him or anything. And he's like, yeah, he seems pretty good, like, it's cool. And then we tracked The House Always Wins, the first thing we made with him, and like literally 10 minutes of the tracking, I'm in the control room with Will, and he's tracking drums, and then he literally just mutes his mic. He turns to me, he goes, yeah, this dude is fucking good. Like, he's insane. It's like, told you, bro.
Hell yeah. So talk to us about upcoming events for you, album launches. What is the dream tour? What's the dream artist for you to play with?
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna put him on blast. I just decided this right now that I'm gonna do it.
Hell yeah.
There's a band from a country that we really want to go back to. That country is Australia.
Oh, fuck yeah. Music to our ears.
The band is currently putting together a tour. Oh, am I gonna get in trouble for this? I might, I don't know.
Janine just needs to delete it later.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to say. I want to go on tour with Alpha Wolf, and I want to do it in Australia.
Hell yeah.
I want to tour with a fucking young band that is killing it all over this fucking planet. That's a band I want to tour with. We're talking to him right now, and I'm like, let's go.
That would be a hell of a show.
Come on, let's go.
Putting on a killer show too.
They're fucking crazy. So yeah, I want to do that really bad. I want to play with young bands. You know, honestly, we've done the same shit over and over again for a long time. We tour with just our friends, Stick to Your Guns, Counterparts, Architects, you know, D's Nuts. Like, we're just tour with the same fucking bands, right? And it was like, and we just wanted that because it's fun. But then it like felt stale, and like the shows weren't really great anymore because like people have seen it so many times. And now like this year we've toured with Under Oath, Spiritbox, Devil Wears Prada, Dying Wish. You know, like we're about to go to Europe with Vatican and Guilt Trip. Like I want the new bands. I want the lineups where people want to see the whole lineup because it's a fun show, not just because they're going for the fucking headliner. And I want to start lifting the next generations of bands that will end up like taking our spot in 5 years, 10 years, you know? So yeah, there's so many good up and coming bands like in the States, like Foreign Hands, Unity TX, Dying Wish, like, you know, so that's what I want to do. I want to play with the new bands. Alpha Wolf, that band's like fucking hot as shit, and like they're brand new, you know what I mean? Like the bands that got like screwed by the pandemic, like their moment should have happened years ago, you know what I mean? And then they just got kind of put on pause, you know? So
but it's an interesting thing though, that you say that they should have blown up, but I reckon if they had the opportunity 2.5 years ago, maybe that wouldn't have happened. And say for you guys, you might not have put this album out the way you are now because the pandemic forced people to do things in a different way that maybe helped you reinvent.
You are absolutely correct. I mean, I think if you talk to Stray from the Path or Alpha Wolf or any of these bands, like they wouldn't change a fucking thing, you know? So So yeah, you're right. But that band's killing it. I really want to tour with them. I want to go back to Australia. I want to
We'd
do
love to have you
Japan.
back down here.
Oh man, I miss it. Like honestly, I'll tell you, I'll be completely honest. So we did we put out Internal Atomics on November 1st. So we last in 2019, we toured October 4th to January 20th with 2 weeks off. And we did Japan, America, Canada, England, Europe, Australia. October 4th to January 20th, 2 weeks off. It was fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
And the last show we played before the pandemic, Stray headlined a sold out show in Melbourne. And we had Sam Carter come up and do his guest spot, like for First World, because he was there. We had Kubla Khan. It was a fucking great show. And I'll tell you this, I didn't give a fuck. I couldn't care less. I did not want to be there. We did too much. You know, like touring October 4th to January 20th, 2 weeks off is fucking stupid. And we were like burnt. We were burnt the fuck out. And I was killing myself once, like, you know, it's May 2020. And I'm thinking like, man, we might never play a show again. Who knows if we're even a fucking band in a couple months. Like, and I'm just like, man, and we just played Australia, Melbourne headline show and I didn't care. Like I took so much shit for granted just because like, you know, and one thing I took for granted is also like my time. So like now, like we're touring, like we're never going to tour like that again. Like we were very like unhappy. Like we're like arguing all the time. Like we don't do that anymore now that like this is our second tour of the year and that's it, you know, like then our next like big tour is not till March of next year, you know, like we're not touring like we used to, where we do fucking 4 months in a row, like, and then everyone hates it. Like it feels like a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're lucky that we get to make money from this and make a living. But you know, I also don't ever want it to feel that way. You know what I mean? So so I want to get back to Australia because like that whole mindset of us like being checked out when we were really also having a moment there. And like, you know, it's like you sell out a show, like you tell me if we're gonna sell a show in Melbourne, 500 people, like, you know, fucking 5 years ago, and be like, oh, that's fucking crazy. That'd be awesome. And I didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? So it's like we realized we have to prioritize our physical, mental health, you know, the people that we leave at home while we go on tour. So like a lot of stuff I want to redo. So I want to get back to Australia and fucking smash that. And we're going back to Europe in March with Beartooth and Motionless in White, which dying to play with those people because they have like different fan bases than anything.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to doing that. And then just kind of seeing where this record takes us. You know what I mean? Again, we're getting really good press. Like we're out here with the Devil Wears Prada, Dying Wish, and having the best tour of our career in America right now. So like having a moment, it feels good. So we're gonna embrace that.
It's so strange. It's so strange to talk to so many bands, and like even just for us, because the pandemic is why this channel started. You know, looking back on what was such a fucked up time that probably ended a lot of bands, and it's just weird looking back now and looking at all the positives that came from it. Like there's been like the whole reactions thing's blown up. There's been a renaissance of all these heavy bands just sort of reaching so many more people. And it's also like, because like I said, I listen to Downbeat and I've heard Craig say that I don't want to fucking tour like that anymore, man. I don't want to burn myself out. It's weird that some things just you don't expect can be a blessing in disguise like that. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I mean, even the pandemic brought me my fucking daughter. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't planning on having a kid and like doing that. I mean, I manage bands. And like I've always managed bands, but like over the pandemic, like a lot of people were kind of reassessing their teams and I was able to find some other opportunities there. And, you know, I work for some fucking bands that I'm blessed to work with, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, so like, and then, you know, Drew opened a studio and Dragon Neck is doing fucking music videos and making movies and shit. And then Craig is doing the Downbeat. And like, so we all also kind of just discovered that we just don't need Stray like we thought we did, you know, and into a way where it made it not fun and it made it like a chore.
Yeah.
And we kind of got to step back and look at it and, you know, prioritize ourselves a little bit more because we always just like, we have a record out, we got to tour the world. Like, that's what we got to do. That's just what you do. And we did it and it was like fucking tough. And then we'll just never do that again. So we're starting stuff out and we're planning out and we're making sure that we have like you know, we toured in February, and then now we're touring in August and in September. So it's like, and then we had, what is that, March, April, May, June, July off. You know what I mean? And then after
that's
this,
sick.
we go to Europe for 2 weeks in October just to do like some small record release shows. But other than that, like we have half of October, November, December, January, February off. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it's
cool.
like, again, taking care of ourselves. And then that way, when we go to play, we're like, oh my God, I can't fucking wait to play. And then we're giving people, you know, that's the reason why like these last 2 tours we've had, you know, we Under Oath, Spirit Box, Devil Wears Prada, Dying Wish, like we're having the best tours, I think, because we're going up there and we're fucking smashing.
Yeah,
Right.
you're
Like we
excited to
are
be
up
there
there
again.
and like
Yeah.
we hear it like when Drew is on stage, like even how he talks to the people, like he's doing it differently and he feels more like himself instead of like, you know, some script in his head of like, oh, this is the part in the set where I say this now, you know, like he's talking with them and like building a relationship with them and like we're having fun, you know what I mean? So it's like going back to why we did this in the first place is for fun.
You guys
Instead
all
of like,
live like you guys all live like really far apart still too, don't you? Like Craig's in Scotland. Is Drew still in France?
no, Drew is back in New York.
He's back.
Neck lives in Jersey and I'm in Tennessee. So
Oh, geez.
we're all far as fuck. And
Yeah.
then like our merch guy, who's been with us for over 10 years, he lives in Maryland. Our photographer, drum tech, who's like a big part of our band too, Gabe, he lives in Portland. Like it's fucking scattered. Like none of us
Yeah.
are living at the same time. No one.
Jesus, that's hectic.
That does make things interesting, particularly when it comes to touring and stuff. I guess if you have that time
Pricey.
off, but it also means that you kind of get the like, I get to catch up with my mates when we go on tour because we haven't been in the same location the whole time. That would make it exciting
Exactly.
as well.
And honestly, like we used to always do like a van so that we could make the most money and fucking, you know, whatever. And then like when we're in a van, it's like I'm in shotgun, Drew is driving, Craig's in the first bench, Mikey's in the last bench, then you know, Gabe is in the second bench, and then Neck is in the third bench. And like everyone's laying down, everyone's got their headphones in. We show up at the venue, we load in, we play, we load out, we go to the hotel, and then we have I roomed with Craig. Drew would go on his own because he was the driver, so he like got his own room. And then Mikey, Gabe, and Neck, they got their room. So we would all just all separate, like no one ever hung out. And now we're like, fuck it, we're doing a bus. So like we tour in a bus, and like now we hang out every night. Every night's a fucking sleepover. It's fucking fun. And we're just like, all right, we'll make a little bit less money, but like, fuck it, we'll be happier. And again, I think that contributes to us having better shows. Like we're fucking smashing it because we're fresh every day. We're all in good moods. We're all having fun, and we're all just loving what we're doing. So like, people are getting the best from us, which I think like makes them want to support us more. You know?
Yeah, hell yeah. Now you talked before about managing bands. What's give us 3 bands that we should be looking out for right now? What's on your rotation list that you think we might not be hearing?
Well, Dying Wish is a band that I've been managing for 3 or 4 years now. Like we did a tour with Counterparts in 2019, and they opened 7 of the shows, and I love them, and the people and the band. I was like, this band's fucking cool. And then, you know, I think they were working with someone else at the time. And so I backed off, you know, and then like something came up where I heard that they weren't working with them anymore. And then I hit up Emma and I was like, what are you doing? And they're like, nothing. And I'm like, let's do something. You know what I mean? Like I love this fucking band. So and then they're, you know, they haven't been to Australia yet, so I'm not sure how much they're on your radar, but in America, like they're fucking popping off, and they are they're fucking great. I manage Counterparts. They have a new record coming out October 7th. They're some of my fucking best friends, and that band is I mean, who the fuck doesn't? And their new record is outstanding. And I'm very fortunate to be a part of that. I manage Miss May I manage Stray. What else am I doing? I bet that band Foreign Hands, Unity TX. Trying to think. This new band on Sharptone, very small band from Germany. They're called Senna. I don't know if you've heard them, but they're a band that you should check out too. They're fucking sick. Super small, so a lot of development has to go on with them. But really, really great. So check them out. Yeah, that's it.
Some to add to the list, but
because there's a I don't know. I'm rattling off shit. I'm probably forgetting stuff too.
That's a pretty
one of my bands. One
list,
of the bands I work for is probably listening to this. Like, what the fuck? You know, I'm like, God, fuck, bro.
You're not one of my favorites. 40 days.
My brain is fried. My brain's fried.
So just before, like, I just quickly want to go back to the music for a second, like the songs, because a lot of people might not know, like, and I'm bringing this up because because of the way you used Jesse on the album. A lot of people might not know how much of a great fucking clean vocalist Drew is. They might not have heard his like emo punk side project that he did. Has there ever been any sort of, like, wanting to move forward, Drew going, oh, I want to do a little bit of a melodic part here, but it just might feel a bit forced or something like that?
Yeah, I just don't think his voice fits our band. It fits like that emo
style, yeah,
kind of stuff. Whereas like Jesse is like the more drony, like Chino Moreno kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
There was time like years ago where it was like, oh, I want to try it, and we did, and we're just like, I was like, this just doesn't feel like us, bro.
Yeah.
So, and I think he even agreed. He was just like, yeah, it's like, let's just keep straight. And I think that's why you see stuff like his other projects popping up, because that's what he likes to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we just never wanted to force it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. It shows that like you got a clear idea of what Stray is and what you want it to sound like.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's do some fun stuff.
All right, what are we going to do, Johnny?
All right, we like to ask a bunch of would you rathers, just dumb shit. So,
love dumb shit.
You're wearing an Always Sunny hoodie, so I mean,
fuck yeah.
All right,
I love dumb shit.
All right, let's go. You got to listen to one of these songs once a day, every day for the rest of your life. All right.
Okay.
You got to choose between Nickelback, Photograph, or Creed with Arms Wide Open. What are you choosing?
Nickelback.
Nice.
I was so wrong. I thought you were going to say Creed. For some reason, I had a real strong feeling you were going to say Creed.
Let me tell you this. The worst album art of all time.
The tree one?
No, oh, that one's fucking terrible. But it's Human Clay. First of all, the record's called Human Clay.
Yeah.
Look at that album cover. It's fucking horrific, and it's embarrassing.
Now I need to look at the album cover just to remember what it looks like.
You're talking. The tree one is called Weathered. I've had
that's so bad.
It's so bad.
So I listened to Creed last week. I listened to that album, and I looked at the cover. I was like, "This is some terrible Photoshop."
It's fucking horrible.
And they had fucking money, dude.
You know what's crazy? They had money. So the person who did Human Clay and Weathered is the same. You looking at it right now? It's the same. It's awful. It is fucking awful. And the person who did Human Clay and Weathered is the same person, and it's Mark Tremonti's brother.
Well,
no way.
Good on them.
That makes me feel bad. I was like, it's giving his brother a fucking. He's giving his brother some job, like, and he got like a big job and on like one of the biggest selling, rock records ever.
That's a fun fact. I like that.
I'll tell you this, Nickelback. I got an email a month ago, and it's from Nickelback's manager, and he's just saying like, hey, they love Straight from the Path like so much, like they literally only listen to this band. And he's like, and so do I. Like we fucking love it. Like Michael, the bass player, is Chad's brother. He's like lives in LA, and he's gonna come to your show in LA with his kids, and they want to meet you and shit. I was like, fuck yeah. Like,
hell yeah.
So he came to our LA show. So I ride for Nickelback. I'm a Nickelback guy.
We did the new song yesterday. We're fans of the band. We're not with the hate. Hey, talk to us. Nice. So you have to be in one of these movie series. Which one are you picking?
Okay.
You can go Marvel, the Marvel Universe, or Star Wars. And which character would you be?
Oh man, I'm gonna piss so many people off right now. I hate Star Wars and I hate Marvel movies.
Oh, shit!
Double. That's the first time we've had that.
Are you DC then?
I don't like superhero shit.
Oh shit!
I just don't. What is Batman?
That's DC.
Okay, I guess I'm DC then because I like Christopher Nolan Batman.
Yeah.
I liked Black Panther. Is that Marvel?
Yeah, that's it.
I like that. I kind of thought Iron Man was cool. What's X-Men?
That's
Marvel. Also Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like Fox.
I'd say Marvel because I'm fully out on Star Wars. I'll tell you this. I tried Star Wars recently because I think Adam Driver.
Yeah, Driver.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
And my friend was telling me he's fucking good. Someone was telling me he's like, oh, he's Han Solo's son, and then he kills. And I'm like, that sounds kind of cool. I was like, all right. So I watched the scene of him on the bridge, and they're having this fucking scene, and it's incredible. And like Adam Driver's like, he's doing this thing, and he's just like looking at Harrison Ford. He's like, I don't want to feel this pain anymore. And then Harrison Ford grabs him. He's like, well, then come with me. He's like, be with your family, whatever the fuck he's saying. And he goes like, all right, and they have this thing, and then he sticks a lightsaber through him, kills him. And I'm like, this is fucking sick. And then it instantly cuts to Chewbacca just going, ah! And I was like, I'm out. I can't do this shit. You know, it's don't like it. Like, you know, I don't like fantasy like shit. Like I don't like Lord of the Rings. I don't like Game of Thrones. I don't like this shit. Like, I'm sorry, I don't piss
What's your
everyone off.
preferred go-to like entertainment then? What do you do to? I'm getting away from my fun questions here.
I mean, no, that's fine. I mean, besides like sports, I love professional wrestling. And I love like, you know, if we're looking at shows, I love Always Sunny, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Man, what else? I'm watching this movie, the video show Tokyo Vice right now. I like that stuff. You know what I mean? I don't even like a lot of action stuff because I watch these Marvel movies, and I'm like, that's just a green screen. That's not even a person. Like, no one's doing this shit. You know what I mean? Because like
one of my best mates is a Marvel stuntman. I can tell you that a lot of that shit is him doing it, and it's way more badass when you see the behind the scenes and you actually know what goes on.
Cool, because like I'm like watching it, I'm like, that looks like a fucking cartoon almost. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know, I can't get into it. But I guess if X-Men, I think some of X-Men stuff's cool. I like Michael Fassbender. I think he's fucking awesome. If I like fantasy stuff, oh, he's gorgeous. I actually just watched recently Inglourious Bastards, and the scene with him
so
he gets caught.
Yeah,
he gets caught the three geysers, and he gets caught. I watched that whole scene, and I'm like, this guy's fucking so good. So yeah, I guess I would go Marvel. Definitely, I'm out on Star Wars, fully out.
All right then.
I understand that.
Yeah, I get why people don't. You said you like wrestling, all right?
Love it.
Undertaker,
I don't like
Undertaker or Kane? Undertaker or Kane?
Oh, first of all, in real life, fuck both of them. But if we're just talking about like in wrestling world, Undertaker. Kane, fuck Kane. Fuck Kane always.
Who would you be if you were a professional wrestler then? Who would you be?
I mean, because of my build, I guess you could say I'm Kevin Owens. But I don't know, like if I had to pick one, I could be probably John Moxley. I like it. He just beats everyone's ass, you know? So like that's cool.
Do you have like what would be your big move?
Ooh, I have this conversation more often than I like. So there's a wrestler. He wrestles for New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's called Will Ospreay, and he's from England. But anyway, he has a fucking move called the Hidden Blade, and what it is he takes off like his elbow pad, and he literally he runs behind them, and the people are on their knees with their back turned to him. And he goes to the back of their head and just goes like that, like to the back of their head. It's fucking sick. So I always say, like me and the bass player and the guitar player of Dying, which we always talk about, like we'd be like, "What's your finisher?" And I'd be like, "The fucking Hidden Blade." I was just like fucking, I don't know. I like striking stuff, like Shinsuke Nakamura's like knee to the face, like stuff like that. I like shit like that.
The more vicious, the better. I'm getting. Yeah, cool.
I love professional wrestling. Like it's funny because I don't know if you guys know what New Japan Pro Wrestling is.
No.
Because it's kind of like a niche thing, but it's like it before AEW, like it was like the second biggest wrestling promotion in the world, right? So like they had a show at Madison Square Garden. So like that's how big it is, right?
Yeah.
So they had a show at Madison Square Garden before the pandemic, and they did a submission list with like looking for people to write a song for a pay-per-view called Wrestle Dynasty, and I wrote it, and they picked it, and like actually the chorus of the song Ladder Work on Euthanasia, like the dan 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 bam bam bam, that was the theme song for that wrestling paper.
Oh, sick.
And dude, my heart was broken because I just want to write wrestling shit. Like there's a wrestler in New Japan called El Fantasma. He's fucking awesome. I wrote his entrance theme, and you could hear, if you hear his entrance theme, you could hear that it's me. You know what I mean? So I always just want to do like wrestling stuff as much as I can, you know.
So there goes the what happens post Stray. It's just going
straight into wrestling. Have you had a chance to see Andy Williams wrestle at all?
So many times.
Yeah.
I saw him at Huntsville. I saw him at Buffalo, but I saw him with AEW in Huntsville, Alabama once, and it was sick. I got to go down and see him do his thing, and it's funny, like, because my wife doesn't really watch. She likes wrestling because she used to work with wrestlers all the time, because she's like she's a hairstylist, and she's done like Charlotte's hair and like Lana's hair and I forget who else, but she used to work with it. So she like knows it, knows that I love it. So sometimes we watch it, but she loves Andy. So like anytime I was like, oh, Andy's in the main event tonight, she'll be like, oh, sick, let me know, and I'll come watch it. So like anytime he's on TV, like love it. I saw him back in February, and it's cool. He's like, I was just like, he's sitting there, and I'm just like, you think I want to ask you about every time I die, but I don't. I want to ask you about wrestling, AEW. So yeah, I love the big dog. Like every time he's on TV, I'm always watching.
All right. What's the next would you rather for him then?
We'll give two more. So I'll give the next one. And this is one that's always interesting to hear. You meet your idol, the person you look up to the most in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather vomit on them or have them vomit on you?
Them vomit on me for 1,000%. I wouldn't give a fuck. Here's the thing. There's like, 100%.
Who is it? Who is it?
All right, I'll tell you the story.
Please.
Am I talking too much?
No, go for it.
It's an interview, man. Ramble away, baby.
All right. Yeah, people don't want to hear us.
So here's the thing. I don't really give a fuck about people, right? Like I probably have like, Wayne Gretzky, Gordon Ramsay, Tom Morello, right? That's like my
very different people. I like
those are like the people like I give a fuck about. Henrik Lundqvist too. I don't think you know him in Australia, but he's a goalie for the Rangers. Love him. Anyway, so that's like 5 people that if I saw him, I'd be like, oh my fucking God, right? Otherwise, I'm just like, I love the Deftones. It's my second favorite band. I played a festival with them. Chino walked right by me. Like I would go, oh shit, that's Chino. Like, but that's it. I'm not like, oh girl, I don't freak out. But anyway, so we play a festival. Download France, 2018. Prophets of Rage is playing, and Stray is playing. Oh, I got 2 stories here. I'll try to jam them as quick as I can. So I'll get to one story first real quick. So in 2009, we're playing a venue in Austin, Texas called Emo's. And next door to it was a place called the Red 7. And we show up there to load in and we hear someone sound checking and it's fucking Green Day. Like, I'm not like a band that sounds like Green Day, but it's fucking Green Day in a 300 cap room. And they did it as a warm-up show to play stuff for their new record. I think it was Uno or Dos or one of those things, right?
Yeah.
So apparently the ticket sold out in like 1 second, right? So, but we go there and we just like talked our way into the show, right? Like we were just like, yo, we're playing next door. We fucking love Green Day, blah, blah. The guy, and finally we just like gave the dude like $50 or whatever. The guy let us in, right? So we go there. There's no barricade. It's a small venue and we're like freaking out. So I'm up front with Drew and they're playing new shit and it's like whatever. And then they start playing fucking bite my lip and close my eyes, right? So we're like, take me away to bed. So we're like, oh fuck. So I go to Drew, I was like, yo, next time they play something sick, let's fucking stage dive. Like it's fucking Green Day. When are we gonna be on the stage dive? So we go there, they start playing that song, and then me and Drew are fucking stage diving, right? Like Drew's all over the place. The security's trying to like grab him by his ankles. Like it looked like a fucking cartoon. And he's like, we're jumping and we're rolling on people, getting pushed onto the stage, jumping off again. So the security's trying to get us. I jump off the side and I get away from security. And then security grabs Drew and then Billy Joe's on stage. And he's like, oh, hold up. And he goes to the part where like breaks it down, gets super quiet, right? Can't do it by myself, right? And then like, right? It's right before that part. And Billy tells Drew to wait, let security let him go. He says, you wait there. He's like, you kicks in, you go out there. So I see what's about to happen. So I'm getting ready to go as well. So the part starts to kick in. Drew stage dives. I stage dive at the same time. And I'm on my back and I'm straight up holding Drew's head, like an RKO position, right? Drew's right here. And like Billy Joe is like as close as you are right here. Like this is how close he is. And we're just like both singing to each other. We're like, bite my lip and close my, right? Like this close. It was fucking amazing. Then we both get thrown out. It was awesome. So anyway, so we're playing Download France, and the headliners is Prophets of Rage and Green Day. So we're in the backstage room, and what's so sick about Europe is that no matter if you're straight from the path or you're fucking Green Day, your backstages are right next to each other. Like no one gets, everyone just gets special treatment. I don't want to say no one gets special treatment. They just treat you like gods, right? So we're set up. We're two away from Green Day, but the whole time Architects was there too. And Architects has a photographer, Ed Mason, he's a good friend of ours. Yeah. And I say, Ed, I need one thing from you today. I need a picture with Tom Morello. And so I need you to hold my hand all day so we get he goes, I got you. So anyway, but then before we're waiting around before both bands play, and Prophets of Rage isn't there, but we see Billy Joe walk by, and me and Drew look at each other like, let's go fucking see if he remembers, right? So we go to Billy Joe. We're like, yo, I was like, can I ask you something queer? Something weird? And he goes, yeah, sure. And he goes, do you remember you played Austin, Texas at the Red 7, little 300 cap room, and you had like these kids like stage diving and shit? He goes, yeah, of course. I was like, that was me and him. And he goes, no way. He's like, that's crazy. What are you doing here? I was like, we're playing. And he goes, oh, fuck, you're in a band? Yeah. What's your band? Straight from the band. I was like, never heard of it. We're like, don't expect you to. We're like, all right. But we're like, yo, it's like, is it cool if we took a picture? And he goes, yeah, for sure. So we took a picture. He goes, hey, where's the bathroom? We're like, oh, over there. All right, see you guys. And it was like the coolest guy, right? But anyway, so now I'm like, that was the side story. Now I'm here to see Tom Morello, right? My fucking idol, right? So I don't see him. We're about to get into a van to go to be taken to our stage. And as we're waiting for van pulls up, and getting out of the van is them. And we're going into the van. I don't say shit, but I'm like, oh my God, that's them, right? So I get in the same fucking car as them, right? They take us to the van, we play our show, come back, and they're not there, but they're about to go play. So I go to Ed. I'm like, Ed, roll with me. Like, let's go watch, right? Let's go watch them. So the way they set it up was stage right was for people at the festival, and stage left was friends and family. This is kind of bad for me to do. So, but I'll admit it. But anyway, stage right is filled with all these fucking people from the venue from the festival trying to see it.
Yeah.
Stage left is empty as shit because it's friends and family. So I'm just like, fuck this. I was like, I'm getting on that friends and family. So literally go up and sneak behind like the backdrop, and I just run across stage to the left, and I'm on stage left. And I remember I was standing behind Juliette Lewis, who I think was like dating Brad or whatever. So I'm like, Juliette Lewis is here. It's like, it was fucking sick, right? So anyway, they start playing Testify. And honestly, I've never seen Rage with Zach up until recently. I saw them on this tour that they just did. But before that, I've never seen Rage before, never seen him with Zach. So seeing him with Be Real and Chuck D is like not the best, right? Because they're trying to replace.
It's a different experience.
Yeah, impossible.
We've
Impossible.
seen them.
Yeah, we saw
Prophets
them
as well. Yeah.
And Prophets, it's like, it's a fun time, but it's just not Zach. And I know that more now that I saw Zach, right? He's the greatest, right? So anyway, but I'm singing every word. I'm going nuts, right? So at one point, this bald dude with a fucking mic, with a fucking walkie-talkie comes up. He goes, "Who you with?" And I'm just like, "Oh no, we're good, man. It's all good. Like whatever." He goes, "No, who you with?" Like a song's playing, it's loud. "Who you with?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure, bro. It's good." And then I see him like turn his stage to go his walkie-talkie, and I just like disappear, right? So I just whatever.
Fade into the mist.
I get it. Literally, that's literally what I did. Like Homer Simpson into the fucking ocean. So I'm on the stage, and they do this break where the band comes off, and the DJ and Chuck D and Be Real do like a hip hop interlude thing, and so they're doing that. And as they do that, Tom, Brad, and Tim come off the stage, and like I had to move out of the way for it, right? So at this point, like everyone from Architects and like Ed Mason, the photographer, they're all over there too. So everyone's sneaking over now. They're like, I'm over there. And so once they saw that we were like in the way of them, like I see the bald guy go, he's like, all right, we got to get these people out of here. Like there's too many motherfuckers on here. Like let's clear this up out before the band gets here. So I hear that and I'm like, fuck that. So I go over and I'm literally like chest to back with the monitor guy. And I'm like, is this okay? And he literally turns around and he goes, he's like, it's fine, bro, it's fine. So I'm sitting there. I'm gonna see if I can pull this up really quick just so I can show you. So I'm sitting there, and now I'm at the point where I can literally like throw like an underhand baseball to Tom Morello. Like that's how fucking close I am. And
he's got a incredible throw though.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can show you because you just gotta see like how close I am. It's definitely important. I can't find it in like less than 5 seconds. I'm not gonna do it. Okay, wait, hold on. Here's the picture with Billy Joe.
Oh,
that I told you about. And then here's how close I was.
Oh, that's close. Right? Yeah, proper close.
Yeah,
really
it's
close.
fucking close, bro. And like, look, you could even see it going now. Like that's like where I got to watch. Like,
oh, that's
sick,
fucking
right?
cool.
So I'm going fucking nuts, right? It's the best time ever. Then I leave and we go back to the backstage room. I'm like, all right, Ed, let's do it. So we're sitting there, we're waiting. And I see Tim and I see Brad. And I'm like, I don't want to blow my spot up for those guys. I love them, but I need Tom, right? So then finally we see Tom, and Tom is talking to the bald dude. So I'm like, okay. And the conversation doesn't look heated, but it looks serious. So we're waiting, and I'm like 30 feet away. And I'm like, okay, like, let's wait for there to be a moment. We'll go in. So we're sitting there. I'm with Ed. And then I see a couple people go up to him and take a picture, and he starts taking pictures. I was like, let's go. So I go up and I'm like waiting in like a 4 or 5 person line. And it gets to me and Ed. And I was like, hey man, I was like, you know, I'm a massive fan. I was like, I just love a picture if you don't mind. And he goes, definitely. He's like, but I need 1 second. And I go, sure, no problem. And again, he's 2 feet away from me. So I hear his whole conversation. And so does Ed. So he could back this whole story up. But Tom Morello goes to this bald guy and he goes, I don't care who knows who or what. If I ever see you talk to anyone in a way that's inappropriate, like if they want to watch, you let them watch. If I need to ask someone to move, I'll ask them to move. Okay, don't ever speak down to people again. And I'm grabbing Ed's arm and I'm just like, oh my God, he's the fucking coolest guy ever. I was like, I can't fucking believe it. I was like, he's standing up for me and he doesn't even know. And I was like, I can't believe this. I'm literally grabbing his arm. I'm just like, I can't fucking believe this. He goes, for real. He's like, everyone is fucking equal up there. And I want you to treat them all like they were family. He's like, so don't ever do that again. And then he looks at me and he goes, all right, man, let's take the picture. I'm just like, okay, bro. I was like, dude, thank you. And then I was like, you're the reason why I play guitar. I was like, my band played here today. I was like, I just appreciate you. Love picture. He goes, sure. And there you go.
Hell yeah,
What a
man.
dude. I love that.
Fuck, that's amazing.
They said don't ever meet your
Yeah.
heroes, and that's proof why you should.
They say that.
You
and
can't
I'll
vomit
tell
on
you
a
this.
dude like that.
I tell you this too. Like I also once for my birthday, my wife got me I somehow got on the set of a Gordon Ramsay show, and I got to meet Gordon Ramsay, and I'll never forget. It's something that it's always stuck with me. But he was the coolest motherfucker too. Finally, I got to meet him, and I just shook his hand. I was like, dude, I love everything you do. Like you're inspiring. You help people. Like you're the fucking man. And he goes, hey, I'm nothing without my team. And he went like this, and I was just like, this motherfucker just put over everyone that works for him.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
cool.
2 seconds. He could have just said thank you. He said, I'm nothing without my team. And he went like that. And so that's something that I'll never forget. Like
Yeah,
always remember the people that work for you and people that take you with you. You know what I mean?
Well, dude,
Fucking,
what a way to end.
what a
Thank
way
you
to
so
end.
mufor
Jeez.
sharing that joy. I love
I'm
that.
sorry. I don't know how long I just talked for, but let
Dude,
me
no,
tell you this.
that's
Let me tell you
amazing.
this. Hold on a second. I'm going to put you guys over real quick. Okay. Because I'll tell you this. The pandemic showed that a lot of people, I don't know what you guys are doing before this, but you guys are fantastic at your job. I
Oh,
watch
thanks,
a
man.
lot of
Thanks,
your
man.
guys' reactions. I think your channel is fucking awesome. And I think if there's some things that you can be thankful for, like this is something that you guys should be for. You guys do a great job. I had a fucking great time doing this.
Thanks, man.
Love your guys' shit, man. I'm
I
stoked for you guys
appreciate
too,
that.
and I appreciate you guys talking to me.
Hell yeah, man.
Dude,
Well,
thanks so much for your time.
by the time this drops, the album Euthanasia is out now. So we are so excited to see the response from people because, man, we've been backing you for a long time. So it's finally here.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know who Anthony Fantano is, but my Twitter is blowing up with people tagging him to listen to our record. So hopefully he doesn't bury it.
We'll find him.
Dude.
Don't worry, we got your back.
Thanks
Yeah,
so
you're fine.
much.
Fuck yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Can't wait to see you in Australia real soon, hopefully.
Next time we do, let's fucking go get some drinks or some food or something.
For sure, man.
Hell
For
yeah,
sure.
man.
Would love it. Thank
We'll
you so
see you
much,
soon.
dude.
Fuck yeah.